So on this side, we've got some interference issues with the steering shaft as well as this exhaust pipe in here. And so we just have to get this in there and line up the holes. There's two studs here and here that stick out that way. And we have to get this over that and then pull it back so that those studs go through these two holes. Once we get that in there, then we'll take these two shims that were originally in there, put them back in between that part right there and the frame, right here, this frame here.
Yep.
That'll get us close to what the original alignment was when we drove in. It's at least a good starting point that we can adjust from. And it may not be right, but at least that they're in there back where they were, all right?
Okay.
On this one, we did have to loosen up the steering gearbox on the removal so that we had enough room to get that past the shaft.
Okay.
The shaft can rotate, but it's rather stiff on a new part. And so a lot of times what you'll have to do is get it hooked onto that stud and then use the arm itself as leverage to pull up on them. Alternatively, we can pull it out and either mount it up in a vise or use a big pair of pliers to turn it if we need to, or a wrench. Beautiful.
There we go.
So now we've got the shims we need to get in there. Both of those shims were on the back stud, okay? And so you need to push this away just a little bit, get it in between that shaft and the frame, and then pull it back tight.
So get this in between the bolt.
Yeah. We'll get these nuts on first. And if you notice, these are not round, right? It's kind of squished. This is a locking nut. So once you start tightening it, you'll notice that it doesn't just go on smoothly. You actually have to use a tool to turn it the whole time.
Gotcha.
All right, now it can't fall off, so you can push it back and forth as much as you need.
Okay. All right, so we've finished putting in our upper and lower control arms. Next, we're going to put on the spindle, or what else did you call it?
Steering nut.
Okay.
So either way, either name is okay. You'll notice that we went ahead and took these apart and cleaned them thoroughly in the parts washer, inspected them for any cracks or bends, and then that way we know if there's any issues. When we go to put this on, we want to make sure that we protect this area here. The spindle is where the bearing rides. When we put this on, we'll go ahead and put it on the lower control arm. We'll get the nut on, and then we'll go ahead and install our spring.
Okay. And that's okay to just hang there? It's not gonna...
It is, as long as you don't drop it.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, so the coil spring compressed with the compressing tool, we're going to reinstall into the new control arm, noting that the end of the coil spring is going to line up with these two dots in the coil bucket. So we'll line them up and swing the coil spring into place. We'll line the top up into its pocket. Now all we got left to do, make sure it spins freely, and torque these down and put cotter keys in them.
And remove the spring compressor.
Correct.
Now we can go ahead and connect the final piece of the steering linkage, which is the outer tie rod ends. Get those in there. Castle nut on, torque to spec, and we'll get these cotter pins in. Good job.